This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, website, or online store, make it with Squarespace.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ali. I'm a junior doctor working in Cambridge, and this is going to be a quick video review of the iPad Pro Apple official Smart Keyboard Folio thing, which definitely could be named a lot better because it doesn't really roll off the tongue. But I absolutely love this thing. I've been using it every day at work for the past few months since getting the iPad Pro, and I think it's absolutely incredible. So in this video, I'll talk about what I like about it, the few things I don't like about it, and then we'll end with a little discussion about who I think would benefit from this £180 glorified keyboard. Let's go. So what do I like about it? Long story short, I think this is the best typing experience I have ever used on any device ever. Just like, typing on this is just such a lovely, beautiful thing. The keys feel amazing. The keys have this kind of like fabric coating to them that is not as like clicky as a MacBook Pro keyboard. And it just feels like such a joy to type on it, to the point where I pretty much use this for any kind of typing thing that I can. And anytime I do have to type on my MacBook or on my Apple Magic Keyboard, I feel bad that I'm typing on those rather than typing on this, because this is just such an incredible typing experience. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's so nice and satisfying, and it just feels really good. Like, once you've used one of these keyboards, you will never want to use anything else ever again for typing anything ever. Apart from the amazingness of the typing experience, other things I like about it are how easy it is to get set up. So this is the default carry position for it, and then, you know, if you want to lay it down, you just bang, done, and then you can get typing away. It comes in two different configurations. You can go at this angle, or you can go at this angle. I almost always use this angle, because it's just quite nice for having on a desk and then being able to type stuff. I kind of wish it had more of a, kind of like the old Apple case had like a 15-degree, sort of like this writing angle, so you could kind of write stuff with the Apple Pencil on it if you wanted to. But sadly, that's not the case with this one. So for this one, if I do need to switch from typing to Apple Pencil, I just do that. I just lay it flat, and this, I don't think they intended for this to be like a thing where you're just kind of resting it at that sort of angle, but it does end up being at kind of an angle, and then you can like write whatever you want with your Apple Pencil, rather than it being fully flat. It's just very slightly angulated in this particular configuration, and then you close it, take it up and go. And finally, one thing I really like about it is just how durable this is. I have, you know, spilt so much stuff on this case. I carry it on my lunch tray whenever I go to lunch and spill like curry and stuff on it sometimes. I even spilled drinks on it. It just survives. It's been chucked in my bag. It's been chucked all over the place. And you can see like lots of fingerprints on it, because I literally been using this every single day for the last few months. But it's just very functional, and yeah, just the typing experience is so good that it just kind of makes up for all the other flaws. Speaking of flaws, let's talk about those now. So what don't I like about this? I don't really like the fact that when you fold it over like this, if you just want to hold the iPad, then you get the feeling of the keys behind your fingers. It's not a massive deal because I don't do this very often, but when I do, I kind of feel that, this could have been better designed. Even though the keyboard is amazing, I still get a bit annoyed when I'm having to, like, you know, jam my fingers against the keys there. So actually, often if I do need to carry it like this, it's very easy to detach. You just, and then you have your amazing iPad in all its glory, thinness, with the paper-like screen protector on it, of course, because that's my favorite screen protector, link in the description. And then if I want to, I can just slot it back in, flick this open, and get back to doing whatever I was doing, which is pretty ideal. So yeah, other than this odd kind of keyboard thing at the back, the other thing I don't like about this is the color. It's just a bit bland, really. Like, you kind of want Apple products to be kind of a cut above everything else, but this, if you saw this, it just looks like a, you know, Samsung tablet that they might provide to people at some enterprise. And when you open it up, this doesn't really look like an iPad anymore because it's lost the iconic home button. Instead, this looks like a Samsung tablet. So, I mean, obviously that's not a big deal, and this is clearly the best tablet ever made, but it just doesn't really look like an Apple product. So depending on how you feel about that, you might want to take that into consideration. Okay, so who should get this? Essentially, I think that if you have an iPad Pro, obviously, and you do any sort of typing that you want to be able to do on your iPad, then this is fully worth the £180 investment that you're putting into this Smart Keyboard Folio. It does transform the iPad from, you know, a cool little device that you can browse the internet on, watch Netflix on, and use the Apple Pencil on. It transforms that to something that is almost a laptop replacement if you use the keyboard. If I were a student and I had the iPad Pro, then I probably would get the keyboard as well, just because for such a small kind of expense, relatively speaking to the cost of, like, you know, this is like £1,100. The keyboard is going to be about 180. For a relatively small cost, you transform the capabilities of the iPad into, like, from an iPad to almost a laptop replacement. But I think that if you don't do a lot of typing and you primarily use your iPad as a consumption device, so for watching stuff and occasionally maybe using an Apple Pencil, then you probably won't really gain much by having the keyboard. The keyboard is just such a great typing experience that if you value typing as like a thing, then it's absolutely worth getting. And for me, like, the main thing I found from having the keyboard is now that when I have a spare moment at work, I can quite easily reply to emails, I can reply to messages, I can even reply to Instagram DMs because I've got the Instagram app on my iPad. And if, for example, I'm on a car journey or a train journey or even on an airplane or pretty much any time where I have a spare few minutes, I can bash open Bear, my note-taking app, and start planning out the script for a future YouTube video, which is exactly what I did on the flight back from Sudan a few weeks ago. I just had this, and if I didn't have the keyboard, I would have tried to plan out some videos using the Apple Pencil and that would have worked, but it's just so much easier to just fully type out a whole script, a whole plan for a video when you have a keyboard. So for me, I found that it's increased my productivity when I'm on the iPad. It's made me able to reply to emails and messages more quickly, and it means that when I get home, I've been able to triage a lot of my inbox and all this sort of stuff while I've been at work and while on my lunch break and all that. So yeah, overall, I think £180, this is definitely added more than £180 of value to my life. So yeah, if you're someone who values typing as an experience, get this, you won't be disappointed. If you don't value typing as an experience, if you don't use your iPad to type lots of stuff, then don't worry about the keyboard, it's not really gonna add anything. You might as well get a bit of a nicer case that looks a bit more pro, that looks like an Apple product. But before we end this video, I just wanna say a big thank you to Squarespace for being today's video sponsor. Squarespace, as you probably know, is an all-in-one platform for websites, domains, and online stores. They're absolutely incredible, and I'm actually redesigning my own personal website using Squarespace. They've got amazing designer templates to choose from, and you can customize those to your liking. They've got 24/7 customer support, and everything just kind of works really nicely together. And actually, one of the things that I use my iPad for these days is that every time I read a book on my Kindle or anything else, then I write a book review of it in Ulysses on my iPad Pro, and I use the keyboard to type it because it just makes typing such a nice experience. And the plan is, once I've got my Squarespace website up and running, I'll upload all of my book reviews to a separate section on the website, all my tech product reviews to a separate section, all my blog posts to a separate section. And Squarespace makes it so easy to have these different kind of post types and have different layouts for each one and have different images for each one. And it's kind of using the iPad to create content for my Squarespace website. It's just got pretty cool thing. So yeah, thanks Squarespace for sponsoring this video. And if you want, you can click the link in the video description to get a free trial of Squarespace. And when the time comes to sign up to a paid subscription, you can get 10% off by using my special code, which will be in the video description. So thank you very much for watching the video. If you liked it, please could you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, then please consider doing so. Have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.